Yeah. So in this replacement cost, what are we doing is we are first calculating what are the converted values, and then on the converted values, you're going to do the calculation of depreciation, which is there for the number of years which are being given. As I was telling you, whenever you're talking about replacements, depreciation and replacement cost, keep in mind that depreciation always on replacement cost will be done on total replacement. It means that is here I have current value, converted value is 50,000 into 300 by 100, 1 lakh 50. 80 into 300 by 200, 1 lakh 20. And then I have 1 lakh 40. So here you can see on CPP method, depreciation will be done on this 1 lakh 50, on 1 lakh 20, on 1 lakh 40. But in the problem, if he says, that is specifically when you talk about CCA method. In CCA method, if he says, do it on average replacement depreciation, then you will take opening replacement cost plus closing replacement cost, divide with 2, calculate average replacement cost, then do the depreciation amount. Okay, but usually for backlog depreciation, for all the depreciations, unless and until he specifies, will not do average replacement. Otherwise, we should always do the total replacement which is there. Okay, so here according to the total replacement, you are doing the total replacement means replacement at the end, closing replacement value. So I'm doing calculating depreciation. Rate of depreciations are given in the problem 5%, 10%, 15%. Number of years are given in the problem. Historical cost is 50, 80 and 140. Depreciation 50,000 into 5%, 2,500. So I get a depreciation of 2,500 multiplied for all the number of years which are already, total number of years which are being completed, 13 years which are there. That is 2,500 into these 13 years would give me total depreciation of 32,500. Then I have 80,000. Second is it's each is depreciation, 10% is 8,000. 7 years of total number of years, so accumulated depreciation 7 into 8, 56,000. Then I have 1 lakh 40,000 third asset, 15% depreciation 21,000. It's this year only, 1 year depreciation is 29,000. According to historical cost, I get a total depreciation of 1 lakh 9,500. Now I'm talking about converted values. Converted values are 1 lakh 50, 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 40. On this, I'm doing depreciation at the rate of 5% on 1 lakh 57,500 into 13 years, 97,500. On 1 lakh 20, 10%, 12,000 into 7 years, 84,000. On 1 lakh 40, 15%, 21,000 into 1 year only, 21,000. So total depreciation I am getting here is 2 lakh 2,500. So this is called the index method. According to the index method which is there, if I am doing the calculation of replacement reserve, then how do I do the replacement reserve? Total fixed assets which are there, fixed asset account, on the basis of index numbers, it's coming to 1 lakh 40. What is this 1 lakh 40 I'm getting here? 1 lakh 40 which I'm getting here is, total converted values are 4 lakh 10. Total historical cost is 2 lakh 70. It means excess of 1 lakh 40,000 I have to transfer to my reserve. That's the appreciation which I have on my fixed assets, because not the appreciation, that is the inflated value which I have on the fixed asset, which I'll transfer to capital reserve account. So 1 lakh 40,000 I'm transferring to capital reserve account. Similarly, the extra depreciation which is there due to the inflationary pressures, that is on converted value I have 2 lakh 2,500 as depreciation. On historical cost I have 1 lakh 9,500 depreciation. 2 lakh 2,500 minus 1 lakh 9,500 will give you um, will give you an amount of 93,000. So excess depreciation which is there, I am transferring to an account, that is from P&L account I am transferring to accumulated depreciation. So now what happens is, till here whatever is the extra amount I have to provide for, I am providing for in my accumulated depreciation which is there in that account, right? Then what happens here, using the replacement method. Replacement method means, yeah, replacement method means, in replacement he is given you what are the replacement values. He gave you replacement values which are there in the problem only. He gave you replacement values. Replacement values are given as 80,000. He's giving you 80 plus 1 lakh plus 1 lakh 50. So, 80 plus 1 lakh plus 1 lakh 50, I take the replacement values, then converted values which are, historical cost which is there is 50,000 plus 80,000 plus 1 lakh 40. These are my historical cost. So, excess of replacement value over my historical cost directly is transferred to my capital reserve account. There are two ways. Different people use different ways their replacement reserve account. So either, I go in the right way of using index numbers. It means I'm using the index numbers which are there in my replacement cost accounting. So I'm using the index numbers. According to index numbers, I'm calculating what is the converted values which are there. I took the converted value, then I did depreciation on historical cost, then I did depreciation on current purchasing power, that is CPP method of inflation, right? This is the index method. In the replacement method, I directly do according to the replacement values which have been given in the problem. I excess of replacement over my historical cost, right? That will be transferred to my capital reserve account. So, replacement cost account only talks about what should be your base of calculating these inflationary values only on fixed asset. This method is not a full-fledged method. It only, basically talks how you are trying to do the calculation of, only the fixed assets which are there. Now, going to the third method which we have. In the third method, you have current value accounting. Current value accounting means the value of the net assets at the beginning, at the end, which are there, right? All are being converted to, their inflationary values. That is the current values which are there. So you will be taking what is the value at the beginning, what is the value at the end, and then keep multiplying with the conversion factor. And the current value is nothing else but the replacement value for this also, right? So how do I do this? So in this method, what do I do? Like now, I have this particular problem. I have their assets, their liabilities, a balance sheet is being shown. General price index is given for the beginning, that is 1990 base year. In 1998, that is the opening balance sheet, it is 200. Closing balance sheet date, it is 250. So he's asking you, now you prepare income statement at current values, right? So first, you will be converting all the assets which are there. Okay, so you will be taking these assets. So you will be taking these assets which are there. You can see the assets which are there. Historical values are there for you. We have the converted values, opening converted values, and you have the closing converted values which are there. Now what we will have to do, always whenever conversion factor is taken, remember numerator will be the current price index, denominator will be the price index on which the transaction has taken place. So here what happens? First, opening balance is 1 lakh, right? So 1 lakh which is there, what is the conversion factor of land and building? 250 current price index divided by base year, that is the year in which the transaction has taken place. So in 1990 it has taken place. So that will be converted with 100 conversion factor. Plant and machinery, current price index is 250. Price index on the year when transaction is taking place is 100. But inventories which are there, they are not 1990 ka inventories. They are the 1998, this year ka inventories. So you will do the price index of 1998, current opening balance ka, index. Debtors also are this year ke details. So 250 divided by your 200, that is the current year's price index which is there. So last one is cash also is of this year, it is not 1990 ka cash value. So 250 divided by 200. So what am I going to do? I am going to convert their values which are there, all the historical values, I'll convert them and get my converted values which are there. This is with regards to my assets. Now I'm talking about the liabilities. Now in the liabilities, what we have is, you have equity share capital, profit and loss, and creditors. So first I'm talking about the creditors which are there. Converting them, creditors are this year ka creditors. So converting them at current year current price index divided by the previous price index, that is 200. I'm converting my creditors, right? Now what will I be doing? I will calculate monetary gain or loss which is there. If you remember, we do the monetary gain or loss which is there on all my current assets and on the current liabilities. So how we do current assets and current liabilities? Similar way I am doing here on my current assets and current liabilities. So what is the historical cost? What is the converted value? I am finding out. Current value is 81,250. Historical value is 65,000. So I get a loss on my current assets, 16,250. Same thing you'll do with your current liabilities also. The current liabilities, your converted value is 31,250 and your historical value which is there is 31,250 and 25,000 here. So you are doing the calculation again. So from the creditors also you are trying to find out what is the loss which is there. Gain. For creditors we always have gain, because why you are paying their monetary values, paper value only you'll pay, you'll not pay the inflation value. So you are getting 31,250 minus 25,000, you're getting a profit which is there of 6,250. Now you're finding out net gain. We do how monetary gain, net monetary gain we do. So loss is 16,250, gain is 6,250. I get a net loss of 16,250 minus 6,250. I get a loss of 10,000. Now he's given you P&L account ka balance which is there, right? So balance which we have in P&L account, what we are doing, P&L opening balance. Actually, not necessary I should write here the difference. I can write your opening balance and write your closing balance. That is also possible. So how we do in funds flow statement, we write opening balance on credit side, closing balance on debit side. That way also if you do, it's fine. So 20,000 you can write on credit side, 15,000 you write on the debit side. Additional depreciation you have to create. We have seen additional depreciation was 11,250 which is there, and you have a loss on the net current assets. That is the monetary loss which we calculated above on current assets and current liabilities. So that extra amount 10,000, 10 plus 11, 21,250 is the total debit amounts. You have on the credit 5,000. Loss for the year after necessary adjustments being taken place is coming to 21,250. Now what are you doing? You're taking the complete balance sheet which is there, putting your liabilities, creditors at the converted value, assets at converted value. You're putting your current assets at converted value, and whatever losses which are there, net loss after all these conversions are being done, you are putting the net values with net loss which is there in your balance sheet. So what happens in your current value accounting method? In current value accounting method, all each and every asset, each and every liability, all my depreciation thereby, everything has to be changed. I calculate depreciation, I calculate monetary gain and monetary loss, then I apply it on my P&L account, then I calculate my final balance sheet with the help of the new converted values which are there. This is basically my comprehensive income which I have and comprehensive balance sheet which I have. This is the supplementary income statement at current values and supplementary comparative balance sheet at current values which are there according to inflation in our current value accounting technique, right? So current value accounting method which is there is what we basically are doing is we are trying to do the complete balance sheet which is there, multiply with the conversion factor, convert the whole balance sheet at the current replacement values and put that values. Okay, so now when I'm talking about these assets and liabilities, what is given in the problem? In the problem he is given us that this is the balance sheet given, opening balances are given, closing balance sheet is given. He is asking you to prepare an income statement and a comparative balance sheet at the current values. So first of all, we have to multiply them with the conversion factor. How we do like our CPP method, like that only we will have to multiply with the conversion factor. So I have to do the conversion factor here. When I am doing conversion factor, keep in mind my land and buildings which are there at cost, they are purchased in 1990. So their denominator will be the 90 ka price index. Plant and machinery is purchased in 90. Their denominator will be 100 as the price index, 1990 index. But when I'm talking about inventories, data, cash, for them what happens is the inventory denominator will be 200 and current price index will be 250. So I will be multiplying for these amounts into 250 by 200 for all the remaining amounts: inventory, data, cash and your creditors. Next, coming to my equity share capital, your capital, I cannot make changes on my capitals which are there. Capital, I can't make change in the capital only because whatever I am due to the shareholders is 2 lakhs only, that doesn't change. So my balance sheet 2 lakhs capital will not change. P&L account will change. You will be bringing about the new change, the new adjustments which are there in your P&L account which are there, that only has to be shown. So now I'm going to the yeah. So now what would I be doing here? My assets are given at historical cost. So land and building historical cost I will take. I'll multiply the conversion factor, find out what is their converted value. Okay, when I'm doing the conversion factor, land and building will be current price index by the price index of the transaction. Transaction ka price index is 100. So 250 by 100. 1 lakh into 250 by 100. 2 lakh 50 for 98. 1 lakh into 250 by 100. 2 lakh 50 for 99. Now come to plant and machinery. Plant and machinery also price index 1990 I have purchased the asset. So my denominator price index is 100. So when I am talking about conversion factor, it will be 250 by 100. So I will take 75,000 into 250 by 100. 67,500 into 250 by 100. Third one is my inventories. Fourth is debtors. Fifth is stock. For all these, what these are, they are current assets. This year के values. They are not 1990 का price index. They are 1998 का price index. So what I'll be doing? In this 1 year only, these inventory, debtors, creditors, cash, all these have taken place. So I will be converting them at a conversion factor of 250 by 200. So I am doing their multiplication 30,000 into 250 by 200, 20 into 250 by 200, 15 into 250 by 200. Like that, I will be calculating their converted values. Okay, now what will I do is I will be calculating the monetary gain or monetary losses which are there on my current assets and current liabilities. So when I am doing the monetary gain which is there, so let me check the monetary gain now. First, when I'm talking about liabilities, on current liabilities, I have monetary gain. On current assets, I have monetary liability loss. Why loss on current assets? The thing is, suppose in the paper that debtors guy has to give me 10,000, he will give me 10,000 only in spite of inflation. So maybe inflation is 12,000, but he will give me 10,000 only. So 2,000 is a loss for me. When it comes to liabilities, what happens? Suppose I have to pay a creditor 20,000. Paper value is 20,000, but inflationary value is 25,000. When I'm giving, I'll give him 20,000 only. I will not give him 25,000. तो क्या होता मेरे को 5,000 I am saving. So always on current liabilities, I would have a gain. On current assets, I would have a loss. This we understood in monetary gain and monetary loss. Okay. So now what's happening? I am taking now converting my liabilities which are there at current value. This is being done. Now I'm calculating my monetary gain and monetary loss. Inventories, debtors, cash, historical values, converted values. Total historical value is 65. Total converted value is 81,250. Now remember, unlike CPP method, in CPP method what used to happen is we also used to do the additions. For additions, how much amount? For additions were converted at average value. Opening balance was converted in opening value. Unlike that, in this method what happens is only opening values which are there will be converted, because at the end of the year as such closing values are written at closing values. So current value accounting doesn't talk about what happened to the additions inflation impact. That will not be discussed here. So what happens now when I am doing my current value calculation? So holding gain, holding loss I am calculating. So total 81,250 is my current value of the opening balances. 65,000 is of my opening balance historical value. So I am finding out how much is the loss. 16,250 is the loss on the current asset. Same thing I'll be doing on current liability. Current liability opening value is 31,250. Opening value historical cost is 25,000. So I am getting a gain of 6,250. Okay, now find out how much is the net loss or net gain. Monetary loss I had on assets is 16,250. Monetary gain I had on liabilities is 6,250. When you minus, you get a net loss. Now, depreciation. Depreciation which is there is being calculated here. We have depreciation. What is the depreciation we have for our so depreciation. Now what is happening when you're talking about these assets which are there? Land and building, there is no change in the value, but plant and machinery, there is a change in the value. 1,87,500 is opening, 1,68,750 is the closing. What is the difference of depreciation? When you're talking about depreciation, I should actually calculate a depreciation of 18,750, but what is happening? Depreciation which is there, already 7,500 is being calculated depreciation. How 7,500? 75,000 year. 75,000 is the original cost, that is the cost in 1998. So when you're talking about the depreciation, 75 minus 67,500, how much will that give you? Depreciation you are getting of, according to historical cost method, 75,000 minus 67,500, I am getting a depreciation of 7,500. But what is the depreciation according to my converted values? 18,750. So 18,750 minus 7,500, 11,250 is the additional depreciation which is there. So what am I having now? My P&L, opening balance, closing balance, you know, here he is deducted like this. Not necessary we should deduct it like this. We can put credit side 20,000, debit side closing balance as 15,000. That you can do. Automatically you'll get the same answer. Now, what are the adjustments which will affect your P&L? First, additional depreciation. Second, loss on current asset. Additional depreciation, how much? 11,250. Loss on current assets, how much? 10,000. So we have 11,250 plus 10,000, 21,250. Difference in your profit is coming 5,000. That from 21,250 minus 5,000, loss, net loss which you are getting is 16,250. Till here, did you understand? Okay. Now, next thing, revaluation. You have to prepare a balance sheet. How are you preparing balance sheet? Balance sheet. Balance sheet which is there, you will be taking these converted values which you have already taken. So all these converted values will come. Now, what are all the converted values? We have seen there 2,50,000, 2,50,000 is my land and building, plant and machinery. Converted values are there. Now, I am putting all those converted values which are there. Okay, so first I am putting the converted values. That is my assets, my liabilities, all the converted values I am putting there. Okay, next what am I doing? There is a loss. How much is the loss? Previously I had a profit, but now what am I having? I'm having a loss. How much loss am I having? I'm having a loss of, you know, we saw this now, income statement. In the income statement, I get a loss of 16,250. So I am getting a loss of 16,250, unlike my historical cost balance sheet. Historical cost balance sheet, I had a profit of 15,000 and 20,000, but in my okay, but in my in my conversion comparative balance sheet which I am doing, in my comparative balance sheet which I am doing, my I don't have that profit anymore. I have a loss due to the revaluation. Okay, and when I'm talking about these replacement reserve, we have seen a revaluation reserve which is there in replacement accounting. We found out the difference which is there between the converted value and the historical value. That is your revaluation reserve. So difference between your historical cost and your converted values which are there, these differences which are there between your historical cost and replacement, that is the converted values in your fixed assets, is going as revaluation reserve account. So that will go as your revaluation reserve account. So your income statement showing a loss, and your converted values which are there, comparative balance sheet which is there, will consist of all new converted values and will consist of, understand, in your non-monetary assets, the difference is going to revaluation reserve account. All your monetary assets and monetary liabilities, the difference which is there is going to your net monetary loss, which is impacted on the loss. So what's happening? Monetary, non-monetary, that is fixed assets, current liabilities, all are being adjusted in your new balance sheet. Remember, equity share capital will not change. Whatever we have to pay according to paper, that much only we'll be paying, will not be paying them inflationary values. So current value accounting which is there will be talking about a new balance sheet at converted values. All my non-monetary items, I will prepare revaluation reserve account, and impact of depreciation I will show in income statement. All my monetary assets and monetary liabilities, I will find out net monetary gain or net monetary loss, and I will put that in my P&L and show that in my balance sheet. So that way what happens is complete balance sheet is taken care of. Every transaction is being converted at the current value.